Hi, I'm Zibby Owens from the podcast Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books. Usually you'll find me behind my microphone only listening to what I have to say, but today, now you have the video version. I'm here with Dr. Beth Ricanati, who is the author of this amazing book, which I absolutely love, called Braided, A Journey of 1,000 Challahs. Beth is a physician. She has spent her life working on women's health issues, and her book is an outgrowth of that. And in addition to teaching people all over how to make challah, it incorporates wellness strategies for life. And when I read the book, I wanted to interview her right away, but also I thought, well, she bakes challah with all these women all the time. We're meeting on a Friday morning, let's make challah. So here we are. So welcome to Beth.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here. I'm excited to make challah with you and to share that with everyone. You ready to get started?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. So one of the best things I learned about making challah before you actually make it is that we take a moment and we stop and we just think, why am I here? Like, why do I have all this out? What are we doing today? And in whose merit are we going to make the challah in? I welcome you to take a few moments and think about it. We can talk about it now. We can talk about it as we're going along. But think about, why are you doing this and why does it matter? I was thinking about it on my drive here. And for me, I was thinking that one of the wonderful outgrowths of writing the book has been meeting new people. So I want to make this in the merit of meeting you and having this great experience today.
I love that. That's amazing.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do to make challah is proof the yeast. This is yeast, Exhibit A. We're going to measure out with that. We're going to measure out 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast, which is what 1 packet of yeast is.
Should I do that now?
Yep, and it's going to go into, we're going to
do it twice?
We're going to do it twice because we're each going to make
1, yeah, 2.
Perfect.
Okay, and then.
Now the cool thing about yeast is it's a living organism.
Yep.
So we're going to feed it. We're going to feed it with a little sugar and some warm water.
Okay.
And that will. Great, thank you. So again, 1 teaspoon.
Okay.
Into each of the sugar.
This is so fun. I feel like I'm like.
It's a science experiment in your kitchen.
I love it. I love it.
Okay, so put the sugar away for now. And
okay.
Then we need warm water. You don't want it too hot because that will burn the yeast.
Okay.
That'll kill the yeast. And you don't want it too cold because it won't kickstart.
Okay.
So warm. I go by feel. If you want to measure it, it's about 75 degrees is what you're aiming for. So now, for the yeast to grow and bubble and do everything it needs to do, we're going to add a cup of warm water. And this will probably be good.
Okay.
So into each bowl.
A little bit more.
Perfect.
Oops.
That's fine. It's all good. This recipe is incredibly forgiving, which I love. Okay, great. Okay.
Oops.
It's perfect.
It's like I've never baked before. I do bake. I do.
And then I just give it a quick stir. Not too much. I don't want to agitate it too much, but we'll just kind of break it up. And now we're going to ignore that.
Okay.
We're just going to put that to the side and get down to business. We're going to add the 5 ingredients.
Okay.
I don't think it matters the order. I like to keep stirring. I'm copying a friend that I made challah with one day. Her dough was perfect, and I think it was perfect because she just literally kept stirring. Okay. It was amazing. So I'm going to give you 2 eggs.
Okay, 2 eggs.
And I'm going to take 2 eggs. I always put the eggs in first. I think it's just easier. Again, I don't think it matters. And then let's add the salt. I love the salt, the Morton salt. You have it here. I love that trusty blue container. My mom had it in her cupboard, and my mother-in-law has it in her cupboard, and there's something great about it. We're going to add 2 teaspoons.
2 teaspoons. 1, 2.
Oh, I definitely stop along the way. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, all right.
It's just the idea, because I used to just dump all the ingredients in. I'm not a baker. And I used to just put all the ingredients in at once and then mix them up. And it was a little lumpy.
Okay.
And then my friend made this gorgeous dough, and I thought, well, what are you doing that I'm not doing? And she was stirring.
Okay, so between each step, keep stirring.
I just kind of mix it all up.
Okay.
And then we're going to add the sugar.
How much sugar?
Let's do 1/4 cup.
Okay.
Which should be right there. Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. In she goes.
And then I'll do yours.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
And Fantastic.
Perfect. And keep stirring.
Keep stirring. Okay, so then canola oil. If you keep stirring, I'm going to give you 1/3 of a cup.
Okay, perfect.
So I do recommend if you can get this flour, thanks. Oh, look at you go. Tag teaming. Okay.
I have twins, you know? This is like what I do.
Okay. The recipe has 4 cups of flour.
Okay.
We're going to do 2 now, and then we're going to put the yeast in a little bit, which is starting to
Oh, it is. Yeah, look at that
go.
Huh.
I know, isn't that fun?
That's cool.
So once that does its thing, then we'll add the 2 cups of flour now. We'll stir all that. Then we'll add the yeast mixture, and then we'll add the rest
And
of
should
the
I
flour.
do like make it really perfect? Well, I know
I don't.
You don't.
But,
you don't.
But people I make it with do sometimes get very obsessive about it. But
Okay.
again,
I don't have to be
no.
that precise here.
No.
All right.
This recipe is so forgiving.
And then something about your making challah just must have snapped, because now you do it every year and you've done it every week for 10 years.
So I did it that first day, and the most incredible thing happened. I had been this very crazy, busy, stressed out mom, doctor. I was trying to do it all. I was trying to be a wife and a daughter and a friend and a doctor, and it's really hard. It's hard to do all that. It's hard to do it all at once, and it's hard to do it well. And I wasn't. And my friend said, just try this. It was the new year, and she said, give it a go. And I did. And as we're doing now, you have to just stop when you're mixing and getting messy with a bowl of flour. It's really wonderful. And I took those 20 minutes, half an hour, and I stopped. And I wasn't worrying about the to-do list, and I wasn't worrying about answering an email. And it was so fantastic for me. And then a couple hours later, when I opened the oven and I took out these lopsided braids of dough, and the smell, I was hooked. Our house was a home. It was magical. So I did it again the next weekend, and I did it again and again and again. And you're right, 10 years later, and clearly over 1,000 challahs, it's pretty great. Okay, so once the yeast mixture has done its thing, and it's bubbled and grown, which looks really beautiful, we're just going to pour it straight in. And now we're going to add 2 more cups of flour. But the trick that I finally learned, and that I write about in the book, is that I don't add the 2 cups at once.
Okay.
Because just like in life, you can always add more, but you can't take out. So instead I add about 1.5 cups, give or take, and then mix that in, and then we'll work in the rest.
I like clear
No, that's
instructions.
great.
I think that's
great.
why I like to bake.
Right. I would drive actually probably a serious baker mad, because I'm so...
No, I'm not a serious baker.
But you add about...
And now stir.
And then stir. You get a great arm workout doing this. It's
I
wonderful.
see that. So in the book you say, I need for my needs, and soon we'll begin kneading this bread. Tell me more about that.
So what I realized years into this, and part of the reason why I wanted to write a book, is that I was on a journey, and I hadn't appreciated that originally. I didn't start out making challah for that reason, but I realized that I had this ritual in my life where I just stopped on Fridays, and I could knead for my needs and take time to be mindful and present and focused. And it's really wonderful, as you'll see in a minute. I don't know if you've kneaded a lot, but it's super fun. You get really into it. And I'm going to go for it. So I'm going to put a little flour on the counter.
And I know in your book you talk a lot about how you make challah with other women, and that coming together with other women on Fridays is sort of, this sort of age-old tradition, and that the community, do you think like the community aspect of the baking is also something that brings, I don't know, some sort of wellness and joy into your life? Like, do you think?
Absolutely. What I realized is that baking this bread, it builds community and it sustains community. And I think it's fantastic to make bread with other women, and I love doing that. And for example, at the beginning when we talked about making it in the merit of somebody or something, when we're all around the island and we're sharing these stories as to why we're here and what we're doing, it can be something as mundane as my kid had a math test this morning, but it can be something really much more powerful. Maybe you have a spouse who's sick, or a kid who's sick, or something really, really meaningful, and it becomes this really intimate, grounding experience together. I think you can probably go ahead and put the dough on the counter.
Awesome.
Looks incredible.
Great.
Get it all out, because we're going to put it back in.
Okay, right.
Perfect.
So I have a little bit left.
That's perfect. Oh,
Better?
that's great. What I tend to do is use
Sorry.
the heel of my hand and just go in a counterclockwise position and kind of work it this way.
Okay. Awesome.
And if it starts to get a little sticky, you may need to add a little more flour. This is where that extra flour sometimes comes in.
Okay.
And as I write in the book, I need it basically till my arms get tired. I need till the dough, it feels right. There's just, you kind of just know. All of a sudden it just turns a little bit.
Okay.
And it's not sticky. You want it to have a little bit of give, which is, I feel like mine's almost there, but not quite.
Okay. So Beth, one of the coolest parts I thought about the book was that you're a doctor, right? And you had said that there were physical and emotional benefits that you saw from making challah that sometimes were better than the beta blockers you were prescribing your patients, and that there were some real tangible benefits to making this, not just to have a nice smelling home and being a good, nice Jewish girl. So tell me what you found in your practice that you found so striking.
So chronic diseases are about 75% lifestyle driven. And when I say lifestyle, I mean things like nutrition, the foods that we eat, exercise, and stress management. And that's where this comes in. We need to have ways to manage our stress. And what I realized in making dough every week is that it is a wonderful antidote to stress. By the way, this feels good.
Okay.
And I don't care what a patient, you, me, what we pick, but we have to have ways to handle stress in this crazy world that we're living in. So I like to do this, and maybe salsa dancing is your thing, or gardening, or skydiving. It doesn't matter, but having something where you can be mindful, or maybe it's a meditative practice, by the way. I mean,
do you meditate? No.
I keep trying.
Yeah. Okay.
And I put a little oil back in the bowl because I don't want it to stick.
Okay.
Just a little.
Question on the stress reduction.
Yes.
Do you think it's that you do it every week and you know it's coming that helps, versus some sort of an intermittent stress solution? Like, do you think the fact that it's every Friday and you can count on it?
Well, yes.
Okay. Versus skydiving once in a blue moon.
I mean, I think you can do different things for different reasons and to achieve the same sort of level of stress management. For me, in this case, absolutely. Having this ritual that's anchored in time and space, and I know on Fridays, I don't know necessarily when, am I going to make it at 8 in the morning or at 4 in the afternoon, but I know I'm going to make challah that day, and I look forward to it. And you're right, it absolutely helps. And we're going to cover these then and let them rise.
Okay.
The recipe...
Is this too much?
No, because we'll just kind of go around. I just want to coat so when it rises, it doesn't stick to the bowl.
Okay.
It'll make it easier.
Kind of like greasing the pan.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to pour a little out.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
But just a bit.
This is so helpful. I mean, you do it in the book. You do such a great job of step by step, each chapter on each step of the plan. But I feel like I'm such a visual learner. I don't know. I think this is like a great compliment to your excellent and well-written instructions. Because I wouldn't have known that necessarily. Like, oh, swirl it around. So this is great. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, put it in?
Put it in.
All right.
We're going to cover them and put them away to rise.
Can cover with anything?
Cover with anything. And I have discovered in California, when it's warm out, I put them outside to rise. You can leave them just on the counter. If you had a warming drawer, you could put it in the warming drawer. I don't think it really matters, but I did learn, and I write a story about this in the book, I did learn from a cowboy in Colorado that if you warm the dough when it rises, it will rise more, which is great.
So should we take them outside?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're going to take them outside.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so we can leave it here and let it rise for about an hour to an hour and a half.
Okay,
Okay?
just leave it. That's
Yep,
okay.
just leave
All
it.
right. Okay, we'll go back in the kitchen.
I think it's ready.
Yeah?
Should we take a peek?
Yes, I can't wait. That's yours. Did it rise?
Yeah, it
Mine's
rose.
stuck.
It rose. Look, it filled the bowl.
Ooh.
It feels good. I think we can take them inside and braid and bake.
Let's do it.
Okay, we're back. And it's time to braid the dough, and then we're going to bake it in the oven. I'm so excited. A little flour maybe on the counter.
So did you ever do that? Like, do you do this with your kids? Do they help you bake challah, or your?
Well, I did learn actually from my kids, so we're going to pour this out, by the way. When my middle went to Israel on a school trip, he learned to roll out the braids, which we're going to do in a moment, by hand. I used to use a roller. I was afraid when talking earlier with you about
Making mistakes.
What I would, right, making mistakes. So I used a roller, and it's really fun to use your hands.
Yeah,
and I thought if he could do it, I could do it, and it's so much better.
Okay.
So you're going to cut it first in half, and then we're going to cut them into 3, hopefully somewhat equal pieces. I don't measure, so hopefully that
Gotcha.
will
Okay.
be correct. I like to put a little flour down on the counter just because usually the dough is a little bit sticky once I cut it, and then I use that flour just to
Don't look so equal.
take care of the sticky. So this is where my son's tip for making the snake coils by hand.
Okay. So now I wrap. Yeah.
We're going to let gravity kind of do its job and let them elongate.
Can I do it anyway?
You can do it any way you want. And I've made this now with enough women that I've seen lots of different ways.
Okay.
And, they all work. What you basically want are just equal length. So we're going to make the 6 equal, approximately. Doesn't it feel good?
It does.
I
This
think
is
we did
fun.
a great job.
So have you had stories from other people that you've inspired to start making challah, maybe readers of your book or patients that you've counseled or suggested it to and who have come back and been like, thank you so much, this is life-changing?
Really great. Yes, I have.
Let's hear some of those.
I have heard all kinds of stories. In fact, Friday afternoons has become quite fun for me because my phone starts to ping with really pretty pictures of people sending me their challah that they're making that week, which I just love. I have some non-Jewish friends now making challah every week, which I think is fantastic. Leftovers, by the way, make for great French toast.
Yes.
So I definitely hear that. And we're going to actually run them vertically because to braid them vertically. And braiding is just like braiding hair.
Yes,
It's just
I
we're
do
just,
a lot.
yeah, so we're just going to, I crimp them at the top and then just one over into the middle, the next, and you go all the way down. There's not much magic to how I do this. I make, by the way, the braided challah every Friday. Sometimes if I'm feeling really together, I try the 6 braided. I find the 6 braided really hard. You have to stop and think, and it's complicated for me.
Okay.
So I don't do it very much. And then before we bake it, we're going to paint it, as my daughter likes to say.
Okay.
So it's 1 egg for each of us, and what I'm going to do is separate out the yolk from the, because it's a yolk with a little water.
Okay.
So we'll put the egg whites to the side. So, okay, so what we're going to do is add just a drop of water and mix this up. Let's maybe try a glug of that, and we'll just spread this around. I just don't want them to stick in the pan. Okay, so we're going to put them on. Oh, these look cool.
Okay,
So go ahead and paint.
Just, okay.
Yeah, you just want to cover the whole thing so it's nice and shiny. It gives it a beautiful
Love it.
finish, if you will. And then we'll bake it. And the recipe said to bake it originally for 40 minutes.
Okay.
But at about 23 minutes, it was as though a timer had gone off. The whole house had this incredible aroma, and they were done. So I have found that I really bake it probably about 25 minutes.
Okay, so how long do we keep them in the oven now that they're in?
We should let them go probably about 25 minutes, but because we've got 2 pans, it may take a little longer.
Okay.
But I'd start paying attention in about 22 minutes.
Okay.
But it'll smell.
Oh, I can't wait. Okay, 22 minutes. Start. Great. Smells so good. Here, watch out, you don't burn yourself. Oh my gosh, they look amazing. Wow. Look at these. So cool.
Fantastic. Yeah, let's put them
Of
up
course,
there.
those are yours, which look perfect. These are my skinny weird ones, but that's okay.
No, they're stunning.
Put them on the cooling rack.
Perfect.
Amazing. Oh my gosh. I mean, it smells amazing. I wish I could like bottle that smell.
And I'm right behind you with this
Okay.
one.
Thanks so much for watching my baking challah experience with Dr. Beth Ricanati, and the author of this amazing book, which you must go out and buy now, called Braided, A Journey of 1,000 Challahs. Recipe is in here, plus a lot of her fantastic stories about her medical practice and her family and wellness and how to make your life even better than it is already. So why not buy it? Anyway, Braided. And now I think maybe we'll just dive into this little challah. What do you think?
I think we should.
How do you do it? Do I do it in a knife?
We'll just rip off a piece.
Rip off a piece?
Rip off a piece.
Oh, look at the steam.
I know, it's really warm.
You okay?
Yes, it's hot.
Mm.
That's good.
Delicious.